Welcome to the Clapper Racing YouTube channel.
What do you think, Remy? What do you think, Remy? What do you think, Remy? Well, we're back at it again. Got the 6.0 out under the cover. Laid out all the parts here. Probably not going to use all of this. I'm not going to use the intake and the oil pan, but everything else we're going to try to use. But today's project is I would like to get the valve springs changed out, get the timing set on. I only have 2 cam bolts. I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but I can go ahead and set the time and then either buy some cam bolts or if I find it, pop it in there. But so that's the project for today. If I get the valve seal or the valve springs in, I can pop the rockers back on and the valve covers and all that stuff, put the valley plate on, and then once I get the cam bolt, I can pop that back on and get the timing cover on it with all the new seals. I bought a whole bunch of stuff from Brian Tooley Racing, so here's all the seals that we should need and gaskets and everything. I got this timing chain. That's the only real thing I'm changing as far on the timing set. And I bought this. Oh, just throw it on the floor. This JWIS from Brian Tooley Racing. There's the part number. So hopefully that'll fit. But Chuck's on his way now. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this thing. Go ahead and try to get the cam on it, or the cam gear, and get it timed up, and then start on the valve springs. Got the timing chain on, got the oil pump on. I put some shims in, like I said. You can probably watch in my other video where I put the motor in my RX7 earlier this year. I put some washers in here in the relief valve and the plunger. I just drop it down in this part right here and put the spring back in, and then this little plug. And it was 3 washers, ended up being about 120 thousandths. I think I've got 90 thousandths shim on that car. All that does is, in the higher RPM, it keeps the relief valve from relieving the pressure as much, so you can have higher pressure at higher RPM. So I've had good luck with that, so I just keep doing it. But time to move on to the valve springs. So I've kind of been slacking on filming some stuff. I left off messing with this engine here. This is the 6.0 going in the Nova. I did end up getting some cam bolts because I lost that one. So I got some ARP cam bolts. I'm going to be getting started on that. I got several days off coming up here in a row. But there is no more Power Glide laying here. This is Cam. Say hey, Cam. But he's hanging out with me. But I got it all together the other day. And last night my wife actually helped me put it in the car. I just have 2 bolts in there holding the transmission up, 2 bolts on the bell housing. But I may have to put some spacers in for the converter clearance. But I'm gonna try to get a lot of it done today, trying to get it in. But I've got a few other things that I'm gonna try to. I got these solid state relays from Amazon, real cheap. I'm gonna try to wire up a bump box here and to the Mega Squirt, and then I've got just a vacuum manifold that I'm going to use for. I've got an open in there. I'm going to use that for the map sensor, and then I'm going to use this for the fuel pressure regulator, because I still have a fuel pressure problem that I have to figure out even when I get this thing back running. So I'm going to probably, when I get it back running, I've got to figure out why that is. So I'm going to take the fuel pumps back out of the hanger. I've got one relay to put on there, brand new relay. I'm going to try, not that I think it's going to do any good. And then I've got some more. I got some submersible fuel hose, E85 rated. This is Gates It's 30R10 is what the rating is on it, which is what you want when you are doing that. And then I've got some clamps for that. And I'm not even sure what this is. Oh, this is another pressure transducer for fuel pressure or whatever. So I don't know. I'm gonna put all that stuff in. Hopefully something will fix it. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm gonna do that. But we get started on this thing this morning after it warms up a little bit. It's actually kind of cool out here this morning. So I've got to go get some transmission fluid anyway, so I'm probably going to go do that now. And then when I get done with that, I'm going to come back and start on this old turd. Guys, it's almost comical at this point with this car here. So put the transmission back in it, go to back up down the driveway, put it in first gear, and I got nothing. Put it in second gear, it'll move forward. Reverse works. So I'm not sure what's going on. Obviously looks like I'm gonna have to take the transmission back out again. I've lost track of how many times I've taken this particular one out, but it really is getting aggravating. But this is cars. This is what you have to deal with, especially if you do everything yourself, like I'm trying to do. So I don't know if I just didn't. When I pulled the transmission down, I pulled it down to the case, kinda. I just pulled the little drum and the band and stuff out, made sure there was no other metal chunks laying in there from the pump shattering. And I don't know if I got the band hooked up right. I probably should have asked somebody, but I didn't. So I don't know. I'm gonna look and see if there's any way I can do anything from under the car, maybe taking the valve body out or something, but I'm not sure. So looks like I'm probably going to be done for the day unless I find out news that I do definitely have to take the transmission out to adjust the band or whatever I've got to do. So like always, keep you updated, but that's where we're at. All right, guys, so got lucky on this one. I think it was an error of mine when I pulled the transmission apart to inspect everything and make sure it was not a lot of metal in it. But I'm gonna be able to fix this without pulling the trans. So what I did was get up under here. There's the valve body. Pulled the valve body off. Here's the bottom of the transmission, pans off and everything. And this little clip right here, was laying in the transmission pan, and this right here is the first gear band that kind of clamps on the drum and gives you your first gear, and that was not on. So what I'm actually trying to do is put this clip back in. It should pop in if I twist this. Oh, let me set this down a little bit. Should be able to pop this thing in there. Get it camera laid down somewhere. So hopefully this will pop in and I will not have to pull this transmission back out. There we go. It's kind of in there now. I got to get this piece back on. The little adjuster here. Probably easier said than done. go. Alright, so everything is back together now. Looks good to me. So the adjuster's on. This goes out to the outside of the case. And there's a little adjuster nut over there. But so first gear should work again. So pretty easy fix. But they're not always like that. I was a little bit worried because I did not want to have to pull this thing back out again. Ooh, that cold start needs some work. Cold start definitely needs some work. Well, I got the old car rolling again yesterday. Seems like the transmission is okay. Still fighting a fuel pressure problem. So I'm going to be pulling the pumps back out of the hanger again. I've got some, like I said, some fuel hose in there. I'm going to go ahead and get to it and pull this out, bring it in there, and start on what I was going to do to it. Alright, pump hanger's out. It's a pretty simple setup, really. Dual Walbro 450s. They Y into a single -8 fitting and it goes to the front of the car. But I'm going to pop these hoses off, change these hoses, and I'm actually going to switch this secondary pump out. I've already switched this one out, and I'm going to take the one that I took out of here and put it in here, make sure this pump isn't bad. Maybe it's pressurizing and then coming back and leaking out of here, or I don't know. I'm pretty much just trying everything now, so let's get started on that. Alright, I didn't film much of it, but I believe I have got the fuel issue straight on the RX7. I went through and I changed the secondary fuel pump, which I have not changed yet. And I put in the primary that I took out before when I was doing troubleshooting and put it in place of the secondary. And it seems to have fixed it. And also while I was in there, I changed the lines in the tank. This is what was in there. This was actually braided PTFE that I cut the braid off of and just used the PTFE part. Don't know which one fixed it, but I'm throwing that secondary pump in the trash, and those are already in the trash, and I'm gonna hope that fixes it. Got a track day lined up for November 16th at Rockingham with a few friends of mine. A guy with the Malibu, Tim, he should be there, and I'm gonna try to see what the RX7 will do. I've actually got it up for sale right now. If any of you are interested, I'm asking 16 for it, 16,000. I can send a list of mods to anybody that's interested. But I think it's time for me to possibly move on. I want to build my truck, and that thing takes up all my time, really, just tinkering here and there. So I would like to get out of it. But if it doesn't sell, I'm not going to be upset. But kind of a low light situation here, but I wanted to show. Started my slow process of getting my shop built. So here's the clearing for it. I bought this land beside my house probably about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, and plans to build a shop, and I've been saving up for a shop, and
So here starts the land clearing process. So hopefully the old Clapper Racing shop will be put up pretty soon. Maybe not real soon, but maybe next spring. But so there's gonna be a driveway coming from the road, and then the shop's gonna sit right here. It's probably gonna be a 30 by 48 with a 12-foot sides, so I can put a lift in it and everything. But we'll see. But I'm gonna end this video off right here. It's kind of a conglomeration of mess, so I don't know how the video is gonna turn out, but appreciate you guys watching. Take it easy.